They think we dumb, diddy dumb, but they gon' know about us. They gon' know about us. Hey, they gon' know about us. They gon' know about us. Oh, they gon' know about us. They gon' know about us. Oh, they gon' know about us. They gon' know about us.
What's up, everybody? How's it going? How are y'all?
What's up?
What's up? How are y'all doing? How is everybody?
Good. Pretty good.
I'm doing good.
I'm good.
We got some watching on YouTube, and we got some, at least I think we got some watching on YouTube. Yeah, we got some watching on YouTube. Those of you joining us on YouTube, welcome. Glad you're here. Glad you're in the chat with, or you're glad you're in the channel with us.
Give me the instructions.
Let us know. Give this video a like. Help us to grow with it. Let us know who's watching so we can say hi to y'all. But y'all, I am super happy to see your faces. It's exciting to see y'all. And how have y'all been? How has the snow been? Allison is joining us. How has the snow been? How many of you have gone out in the snow, have eaten snow ice cream? Tell me what's up. Tell me what's good. What have you been doing?
Well, yesterday and the day before yesterday, me and Will were sledding with Noah and Emery.
Sweet.
I crashed into a tree stump.
Did you hurt yourself?
No,
Not too badly. Actually,
Not too badly.
and Noah went into a creek.
Before me.
Wow.
Went into a creek.
Or I wish I did.
Where's Noah at? Noah's not here. We gotta say what's up to Noah.
I don't know. I texted him just earlier, telling him to join, but he hadn't joined yet.
So maybe he will here in just a moment.
You don't need that yet.
That's crazy. So what about the rest of y'all? Allison, have you been out in the snow? What about the McJunkins? I saw a video.
Legendary.
Very legendary. It will not be seen on here because I did not think to download it or try to download it.
He put it on TikTok and he has only gotten like 1,700 hits on TikTok. He said he only has like a few followers, so it's epic.
Wow.
That's awesome.
We're gonna go viral.
Yeah, y'all went viral. Oh my goodness. It was that, yeah. I loved how Braden was a lot braver than props to Braden. Braden's more of a man than Jacob was, and Jacob. Neither of them are on here to,
Get rid, Jacob.
There's a difference between being brave and being smart.
Excuses.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm gonna have to figure out a way of getting that video and showing it to at least the guys. Yeah, I'm not sure about. I mean, this is awesome.
We're covered.
There's no, they can't see nothing.
Y'all are covered. Y'all were covered, right?
Hey, I've seen people wear less than that at the swimming area, okay? And their Speedo.
It's so true. I think we all saw a bunch of people. Yeah, that's agreeable, especially that time when we went and And it was like when we went to Heber this summer, and it was like coronavirus. There's no coronavirus here.
Right.
Like, I mean, it was so many people. But yeah. Oh my goodness. Anybody eat snow ice cream? Did anybody eat snow ice cream?
Me.
Lots.
How was it?
Fabulous.
It was very good.
All right, I have a quiz. I'm gonna see how many of you have watched the IG Diva last night. Do I or do I not like snow ice cream?
Jacob says yes.
No, he doesn't like ice cream. No.
Ethan, how do you know
yeah.
that? Did you watch the? You did not watch the IG Divo.
Nope.
No, you
Mom
did.
told me.
Thanks, Mom. But
Thanks,
no,
Mom.
I don't like snow ice cream. I'm just not. It's not my thing. It's just
Why don't
not-
you like it?
It's just
It's
why.
good.
It's like I'm eating. I'm really eating a slush, and if I'm eating a slush,
It's
I'm,
good.
Well, what's interesting is it's really a Southern thing.
yeah.
That's what I've learned is that it's a Southern thing versus a Yankee thing.
Okay, well, okay, hold on, because I heard that voice. I heard that tone. Allow me to say I have lived in Arkansas. One thing, I've lived in Arkansas more than I ever lived in New Jersey. Two, I never heard of snow ice cream until I was like in my 20s. I'm
Yeah,
just
and
saying.
if y'all want some epic snow stories, Richard's got them because he grew up with like 4 and 5 feet of snow.
A lot of fun. A lot of fun. I remember like we would have a day where we would have to like, we'd have to shovel out the snow. And it wasn't like you had to shovel out the side of the driveway. You also had to shovel out like for your house, you had to shovel the sidewalk as well. And so these guns were nothing, but anyway, why was there a mocking laugh? I heard that. I'm just sad. No, but yeah, we would have to shovel in the snow, and we'd pile up this. We'd pile up the snow so high that we would build forts out of it and tunnel it out to where you could actually go in and hang out. You had your own little fort inside of the snow.
Okay.
And it was awesome and epic and great and everything that was right with the world. So, but yeah, that we would get to do those sorts of things. And I saw a Facebook post this past day, something about enough of these virtual days. I want our kids to know what it's like to have to get up super early in the morning and get dressed while watching the TV to see if you had school, because those days are gone, right? I mean, it's like, now it's not like, let's be honest. We all know you're not really doing work all day long. You might have like one assignment or two assignment. I know like Mr. Tanner from Southside, he said, history can wait, go enjoy the snow. So, I know that, but I mean, think about that. You don't have like just a snow day anymore. It's like you have no school, now people, I was listening on the radio is that kids are hoping for power outage days to where because of no power, they don't have to go to school.
Are they insane?
I'm just saying.
I hope
That's
they
what-
realize that a power outage means no PS5 and no Xbox.
Yeah, no Assassin's Creed, no COD.
Unless you
But it
have a
means
Switch,
no
and that's a
school.
completely
It means
different
no
story.
school.
You can play Fortnite on the Switch.
But you can do other things. You got your cell phone, as long as you
can
have
set up
battery power on
your-
your cell phone.
Data, whatever, the data hotspot, Logan.
Well, let's we're gonna go ahead and get started. And there's a shout out to you guys. Post in the comments, what did you do in the snow today? Those of you on YouTube. And if you're having issues on with getting on with Zoom and stuff like that, if you can't get on Zoom, you can probably definitely get on YouTube. But we're going to spend some time unpacking tonight. We're talking about being free people, and so we're going to continue on talking about that. So, but I have some announcements I want to give you guys. Let me see. Here we go. And so, for instance, here we go. Announcement number one is youth discipleship is back, but it's it's probably going to be virtual. It is it'll definitely be, the time will be fluctuating. It just depends on how things go Sunday. More than likely it's going to be more than likely it's going to be virtual. It's going to be they're for you to watch online or and participate online. So I forgot to get my stuff up. So let me get this up real quick. So I read a new anybody watch the show Golden Girls? Anybody watch Golden Girls?
I remember we used to watch it sometimes.
Thank
Love
you
it.
for being a
Onward.
friend. Well, I have found out that Golden Girls is coming to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So that's it. Oh, they're all singing. But yeah, anyway, so that's not an announcement for us. That's just something that we have. But youth discipleship is back Sunday nights at 7. And how it'll be either online or it'll be we'll do a blend of in person, but we are definitely going to have it. Also, IG Devo, hey, it's on our Instagram page. If you haven't seen it yet, I encourage you to go check it out. It's some good stuff that we have that we're doing. We do it every Tuesday night, and so it's a time of devotion. And in fact, we're doing our group Devo, as you can see right there, free people, and it's interesting. Like the video, or excuse me, our curriculum that we do on Sunday nights, and what we've been doing on here as well is called Free People. And our group Devo is called Free People. However, it is done by 2 entirely different groups. But what's interesting about it is that it's like the same. It's really talking about the same stuff. And so I want to encourage you guys, you can to check it out, to be a part of it. If you haven't, I know many of you have signed up for it, and props to you for signing up for it. And if you're behind, hey, that's okay. We all understand things happen. You can get caught up, but you can also just start where you're at right now. So, all right. Also, we've got summer camp coming up. Yeah, we are going to do summer camp. How many of y'all are excited about summer camp?
Woo!
Yes.
Yay.
Awesome. I know I'm excited about summer camp. And depends on who you are. Completed 7th through 12th grade. Your dates are going to be June 28th through July 2nd. The speaker's going to be Ryan Scanling. Not sure who the worship band is yet, but as soon as I know, I will pass that on. Of course, there is a price and everything. And I believe you can, the big thing I want to encourage you to do is to go ahead and sign up now, because space is limited. I think it's like 50% capacity, I think is what it is. And so that's going to be filling up pretty quick. So I just want to encourage you guys. That's youth camp. That's for those completed 7th through 12th, as well as we're also doing a middle school camp for those who are in 6th and 7th grade. And those dates are July 12th through the 16th of this year. And the speaker is a good friend, Keenan Wallace. Music still, we'll find out about that is. And so, hey, here's the thing. If you're in 7th grade, you can go to summer camp for 2 weeks if you want. How about that? Is that exciting or what?
Yep.
Except none of y'all will be in there. Y'all will be all in 8th grade.
Yeah.
And so, but I mean, do what?
I mean, if you just sign up to be a staffer or a junior staffer, you can go for 4 weeks.
It's true. You could. That's very true. But anyway, I just want to encourage you guys to be signing up, taking care of that. And Emery's back in the chat. And so that's what have for announcements, I'm hoping we'll be doing some things whenever we thaw out from the ice age. In case you didn't hear, Brother Steve, the church is open, and so we're not discouraging people from, if you want to come and hear Brother Steve on Sundays, or you can. But if it's bad, you have to make your own best decision with that. And so we'll still be streaming and doing stuff. Same here with youth, is that we'll be streaming as well. I'm going to encourage you guys heavily to stay home and tune in on Zoom. But if you're like, well, I don't want to join Zoom, then you're totally welcome to come up to the church. Of course, you guys know masks will be required as well. But anyway, we're talking about free people, and we're talking about danger. We're going to spend some time kind of unpacking that. And so I thought we would play a little bit of a game, and especially seeing as somebody was talking about TikTok earlier, we're going to play this game called. Let me get it up here. Hold on, just 1 minute. And now this is how it's going to go. I'm going to ask you some questions. What you're going to do is you're going to decide which TikTok has more. All right, so here we go. I'll show you the video, and then I'm going to show you. I'm going to give you an option. Is it option 1 or option 2? So it's either going to be one or the other. And you tell me which one has the most views. Are y'all ready?
Yes.
I'm gonna fail.
I think I got this in the bag.
Same.
I think I got this.
You think you got this in the bag? All right, here we go. Here we go.
Imagine using TikTok.
All right.
You don't watch no TikTok?
No, we're not watching.
Cause you had a bad day, you take one down, you sing a sad song just to turn it around. You say you don't know, you tell me don't lie.
I vote the cat one.
All right,
Number
which
two.
one?
Cat two.
Number 2.
That cat is evil.
Number 2.
All right. How many of you? If you say number 1, put number 1 in the chat. If you say number 2, put number 2 in the chat. All right, here it is. The answer, the winner. Which one has more views? This one. Number 1 has 2 million.
What?
Number 2 has 1.2 million. So, I mean, come on. Dogs in
Ooh, I was
the
gonna
car
fail.
looking straight up awesome versus what? A cat. Once again, if you want a winning video, cats are not necessarily the way to go. I'm just saying, don't at
I
me.
guess
I'm
this
just
is
saying.
the dog
So,
v cats war then.
all right, here is the next.
I'm waiting for the Charlie videos.
They see me rolling, they hating, they're rolling and trying to catch me riding dirty, 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 trying to catch me riding dirty.
Which one? Number 1 or
I'm gonna say number one
number
has more.
2? Put it in the chat. Number 1 or number 2? A lot of number 1s, and that is an awesome video. Guess what? Those of you that said number 1, you are incorrect. Number 2 with the mouse. There is a mouse in her recliner. And I mean, come on. I mean, I think that baby got robbed. I think so, but you know, it
Yeah.
is what it is. All right, let's try another one. Let's see.
They see me rolling.
Maybe again. Oh.
All right, so which one? Number one or number two? Put in the chat right now. Number one or number two? Those of you watching on YouTube, number one or number two? All right, here's the answer. Are you ready? If you said number two, guess what? You are right. 176,000 views for the raccoons and the phenomena. All right, so good job. Good job. All right, here's the next one. All right, post in the chat which one you think it is. Number one, number two. Number one or number two? Which one? All right, here is the answer. For those of you that said number two, guess what? You are wrong. 2.7 million views.
That's
Guys
just
showing
messed
sound
up.
effects. Do what?
These
messed
people
up.
have no culture.
That's
I couldn't
crazy.
even-
That is
I could-
crazy.
I couldn't even see what the words said.
I mean, it was insane. All right, here's the next one.
You light me up inside like the 4th of July. Whenever you're around, I always seem to smile. And people ask me how. Well, you're the reason why.
Hamlet. Hamlet. You know you're in trouble. Don't play cute now. You know what you've done. You are in trouble and you know it. You're not supposed to eat the shoes. You're really not supposed to eat them. They're my shoes, buddy.
All right, which one? Number one, number two. Post in the chat below. Number one, number two. Post in the chat, number one or number two. Was it moose walking on water or the bird chewing up and saying what? Which one? Number one, number two. All right, here we go. If you said number two, guess what? Oh my goodness. You are correct. 5.1 million people watched that video versus 2.8 million people watched the moose walking on water. I mean, the bird is cute, but I think that moose running to me, that's awesome. I don't know. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Do you think the moose got wrong?
Moose got robbed.
I think he did. I think he did.
The moose.
Can we get a rip in the chat for the moose? Just a moment of silence.
Rip in the chat.
All right, next one.
This is what a $500 firework looks like. She's lit. Let's go. Quick, quick, quick. What the?
Tell me pretty lies. Look me in the face. Tell me that you love me, even if it's fake. 'Cause
All right. Was it the firework that turned night into day, or was it the jumping off the swing set backwards? Which one? Number one or number two? Post in the chat below or to the side, wherever it is in your life. All right. If you said, y'all, if this, all right, the winning one has 3.2 million views. So if you said the firecracker turning night into day, guess what? Oh my gosh. Guess what? This is crazy. You are absolutely wrong. It is the swing set dude jumping, and how he had to do that is he had to do it forwards, and then they had to do it in slow motion backwards. And so, I mean, that's just crazy. That is insane. But I personally like the special effect of the firework in today. So, but anyway, all right, let's see. What about this one right here? Tell me.
How you like that? You gonna like that? Like that? How you like that? Now, look at you, now look at me. Look at you, now look at me. Look at you, now look at me. How you like that? Now, look at you, now look at me.
All right, which one? Number one or number two? Post in the chat right now. Number one, number two. All right, if you said number two, guess what? You are correct. You are correct. Good job. Good job. I mean, that was pretty cool. I mean, that was like really cool. It was like, my guess is that they did a drone, and it's just awesome. It's just awesome. So, all right, here. What about this one right here? All right, post in the chat. Number one, number two. Which one has the most views? Number one, number two. All right, if you said number one, yo, you are correct. 2.8 million cat hair accessories. That's just gross.
What?
Gross.
It's pretty cool though.
That little dude on number two.
I think the
had
gecko
class.
looks kind of legit. Looks like somebody that would want to go on a quest with you. The cat looks like, I don't really like you. I mean, come on. But anyway. All right, what about this one?
Perfect.
All right, number one or number two? Which one is it? Number one or number two? All right, if you said number two, guess what? You are accurate. Very good. Very good. You are accurate. All right, let's see if we can do. All right, we got one more. We got two more. All right, so two more. Here we go. Let's check it out. Let's see. This is number one. All right, which one? Number one or number two? Post in the chat now. Number one or number two? All right, if you think it was Ocean Breeze guy, guess what? It was not. 11.5 million views is the cat licking the whatever that was on the table and getting those cute, adorable pictures. So there we go. All right, we got time for one last one. And here, oh, and here we go. Ready? Here we go. Last one.
Really
Or
good at
number
aiming
two.
this. Let me see if I can hit this pot up here first try. Oh no, I missed.
Oh, such a great dad joke. All right, which one is it? Number one, number two? Post in the chat below or to the side, wherever your chat is. Drop it right now. A lot of you saying number one. Guess what? You are correct. Good job. Good job. With 2.8 million views. Come on. Come on. We need to do some TikToks and go viral. So, but yeah. All right. Well, that was TikTok Hustle. Well done. Well done on that. And good job. Good job. Good job all around. Did y'all like that? Did y'all like that game? Y'all unmute your
That
mics,
game
let
was
me know.
fun.
Y'all
You
on
should
YouTube,
put
let me
Charlie
know what you think about
D'Amelio
that
on
game.
one though.
Do what?
You should put Charlie D'Amelio on one.
Ugh.
Ha!
Charlotte. Anyway, I'm not. She's all right, but anyway, you
He's
know.
a good dancer. Okay, have you seen her dance to contemporary though?
It's the same. She just moves her hands.
No, that's TikTok dancing. But if she does contemporary dancing, that's when it's really good. You just gotta know it. Yeah, science.
Okay. All right. I trust you. You the dancer, and you the dancer. I trust you. So, anyway, all right. I have a question for everybody. I want you to unmute your mic, and I want you to answer these questions. You ready?
I guess.
I went blurry. See that one went blurry. And in just a moment, it'll all be made clear. Oh, that was so. Sorry about that. All right, so here it is. What's the most dangerous thing you've ever done? The most dangerous thing you've ever done?
Most
I
interesting
don't
thing
know.
you've ever-
Parasail.
Parasail. Yeah, that's dangerous. All right, that's dangerous.
That's fine.
All right.
Done that.
I guess jumping off the cliffs at the one place, I forgot what that one place was called.
Heber.
Yeah.
Heber?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. That was dangerous. I couldn't do it.
It was fun. It was very fun.
Chris's
All right.
was going back.
Jumping off cliffs.
Jumping off cliffs. All right.
Driving 10 miles over the speed limit on an interstate.
Okay.
Oh, the
All
club.
right. All right.
Tired.
I think I went 15 one time on the interstate too. Definitely 15.
Riding a roller coaster.
All right.
That's not dangerous.
What
Well,
about
if you had my fear,
You want to know the
was
most,
for the
I'm
people
sorry.
riding with her. Their hearing was impaired afterwards.
What?
hey, you want to know the most dangerous thing I've done? Discovering the location of Old Zealand.
Yeah, this one time I went to DisneyChannel.com without my parents' permission too.
Oh man.
Okay, well, that's weird. But moving on, what about like, have you ever thought that can hiking be dangerous? Have you ever been hiking?
If you're hiking on a mountain and you fall off the mountain, you can die. Or
Okay,
hit your
okay.
It is for Noah and Alicia because they can't walk on flat ground without falling.
I've never
Oh.
had trouble hiking. I mean,
And Noah is not in here to defend himself in the chat. And Emery just let
No,
him
you just
burn.
got roasted.
Tell Noah to get on. Tell him put down the Minecraft and to jump
Noah,
on.
get off the hall and get on here
Put down
now.
the Minecraft to get on.
I've been texting Noah throughout this whole thing.
Oh man.
Get off the
Shame,
holler,
shame.
dude. Come on.
Stop playing League. League can wait.
Here, do you want me to walk into his room for you?
Crystal said she was a daredevil as a kid, and she was. She would tell me her stories. I'm like, why?
I'm a very safe child. I don't do new things.
But
I do dance.
hikes-
That's the most dangerous.
My most dangerous thing was catching myself on fire
Mm,
as a kid.
that's
Oh
pretty
my.
dangerous. That's pretty
Wow.
dangerous. Glad you're still here.
Weird.
But hikes can be safe. They can be, they're usually safe. But if you take, especially if you take precautions and you're smart and you stick to like the trails and the paved areas. But if you go and you step off, that's when things can kind of get a little bit dangerous. And your biggest risks, though, with hiking might be dehydration, especially if it's a very long hike and the temperature is such that you would be very dehydrated. Maybe a turned ankle or sprained ankle, maybe some blisters, sunburn, bug bites. But like I said, if you venture off of a trail, it definitely gets a lot more dangerous. I was taking a group on a hike when we used to work at a camp. Chris and I used to work at a camp called Lake Nixon. It's in Little Rock. It would be a summer day camp, and for 10 years I worked there. Well, one of the years I got the wonderful responsibility of leading a group on a hike, and I didn't want to get my glasses all messed up with like sweat, and I was trying to take real good care of the glasses, and because they were my only pair. And so I took off my glasses and I put them up. And I go, and I knew where the trail was, but there was this one particular spot that you had to make sure you hit the trail just right. Otherwise you go in the wild, and there's a lot of critters in the wild, a lot of slithery, slimy friends in the wild. Well, I decided to, what I thought was the right turn turned out to be a wrong turn. And I get like this close, like how my face is in relation to the camera. And I'm looking down and I can't really see real well. No, because I had my glasses on. That's right. I had my glasses on. I take that back. I had my glasses on. Couldn't see because I was sweating in my lenses and everything. And I go look, I'm like, what is that thing right there? And then it turned its snaky head at me and hissed. And it was gray, it was deadly, and it was dangerous. And I said, whoa, everybody back up, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. And then I was like, all right. This is not the way we go. And so Crystal ended up, she was able to catch up with us because she was helping, I think, our boss. And it was deadly. I see that chat in the comments. Dead. It is dead. It was deadly. It was giant.
I'm sure it was just a friendly king snake.
No, I'm sure it was a friendly, wanted to kill me snake. That's what it was. Anyway, so that was pretty dangerous. And ever since then, I knew, okay, I need to be smart about where I walk in the woods. But anyway, but if you go on a hike and you venture off, that's when things kind of get a little iffy and a little dicey. And there are some hikes that require a lot more skills. They require a lot more skills, a lot more preparation. On these hikes, you might face dangers like heights or dangerous terrain or unpredictable climate. And so I want to show you some of these trails around the world. These are legit trails, haven't been photoshopped, nothing. This is from I found it from a website like Eat Coffee, something like that. It was like it's an outdoorsy sort of coffee company, and they were talking about the 10 most dangerous hikes. I'm going to show you like 6 of them. Okay, here we go. You ready? All right. So, all right. These are some of the most dangerous hikes in the world. Okay. Now No, that's not cool. Ooh, stepped on. Ooh, scary. All right, here's the most dangerous ones. Okay, and I'll tell you why it's dangerous. All right, here's one. Angels Landing, Utah. This is why it's so dangerous. This is a short hike that attracts a lot of people. The number of hikers can lead to traffic jams at the upper point. The route starts with a narrow sandstone ridge with steep drop-offs. During the final ascent is a steep stone staircase, and that's what you're looking at, the steep stone staircase. The path is just wide enough for one person. If a hiker decides to pass, they'll be scurried over the edge. Be careful when passing. The National Park Service states that at least 5 people have fallen to their death, but it doesn't include the number of people who have fallen and been rescued. 5 people have died walking on that. That's crazy. Anybody want to walk on it?
Yeah, I
Yes.
like my life.
I'd be down to do
Let's
that.
do it.
I know. All right, well,
I
here's
would
this one.
repel. I'll stay home and watch Netflix.
Mount Pinatubo, Philippines. This is why it's so dangerous. More than 72 people fell victim to this hike up Mount Pinatubo's Crater Lake. The last eruption was second largest recorded this century, planting 15 million tons of sulfur gas onto the mountain. The hike is quite easy, but the dangerous part is the volcano's tendency to blow up again. So you could be on this hike and just blow up it could blow up at any moment. So that's amazing.
Cool.
Okay.
Quite fun and interesting to walk on. I would not
Here's
want
this
to walk
one.
on that one.
El Caminito
No.
del Rey, Spain. This is why this one's dangerous. Okay, check this out. The 2-mile trail. I mean, look, you're on an edge. Hello. The 2-mile trail is built on a steel path over 100 years ago. The trail was originally constructed for works to maintain a hydraulic plant. However, over time, it opened up to the public to become one of the go-to dangerous hiking trails for hiking enthusiasts. And my spidey sense says you don't want to go there because my spidey sense says that is super dangerous. I'm just saying. Because there's no rail. There's no rail. It's you and like death, okay? It's crazy. All right. But if you think this one's insane, check out. And I've seen this in movies. Check this one out. Mount Huashan, China.
Oh.
Yes. Look.
Yo, that
That's
was like
it. You're on a
fun.
cliff.
That looks cool.
Let's do
Who
it.
said that?
Me.
I
Absolutely.
said it.
No.
All of
Grounded.
us.
That's it. You're grounded. Talking to your mother. Grounded. Done.
Lol.
All right, this is why it's so dangerous. As history has reported, this mountain is home to pilgrims who climb to the temples at the summit. The trek contains vertical stairways, plank trails, and iron chains. Considered one of the most dangerous hikes in the world, and at one point the planks disappear, and hikers must use small divots carved into the rocks to keep going. That's a for sure no for me. I'm not
Never
doing
mind.
that. I
Never
love
mind.
hiking. Don't get me wrong. I'm not doing that. I like my life.
I do it.
I'll enjoy it from a distance on that one. All right. Well, what about this one? All right. Check this one out. Look at that. Look at that. You are on a cliff with a very small, narrow wood bridge. Okay. This is Via Ferrata, Italy, and Austria. This is why it's so dangerous. Via Ferrata, Italian for iron way, because you got to have iron nerves of steel to do it. Okay. It was scaled originally by the Europeans in the 15th century. The ladders and route was used back in World War I by troops. The hiking trail is well maintained with cables, ropes, wooden walkways, and suspension bridges. Your life depends on safety hinges snapping into a specialized carabiner setup called a Ferrata setup or Ferrata set. The dangerous parts of the hike include the rock faces and the tall ledges that you have to scale to complete the hike. That is crazy. But that looks kind of cool. I might do that.
That looks cool.
Let's go.
All right. Well, let's see. Is it just, let's see. I think I got one more for you guys. Check this one out. This is in America. It is the Maze Canyonlands, Utah. This is why it's so dangerous. Located in the Canyonlands National Park and receives around 2,000 visitors per year, the Red Rock Labyrinth, known as the Maze, is full of dead ends. It's very prone to flash floods and dangerous rock falls. The danger cannot be overemphasized, and visitors must use extreme caution, communication, and extreme caution, in case you didn't know that earlier. So, I mean, seriously, those are some treacherous trails to go on the hike. And yet people will do it. Why? Because it's there. That's why they want to do it. They want to do that one. There's another one I want to show you. Check this one out. I got one more I want to show you. And it looks beautiful, but it's called the, hold on a second. Yeah, here we go. It's called the Maze Canyon. Excuse me, not the Maze Canyonlands. I'm sorry. It is the Maroon Bells. That's what it's called, not the Maze Canyonlands. That's a typo. In Colorado, there are several mountains with peaks of more than 14,000 feet above sea level. Has anybody been to Colorado?
Nope.
Two of those peaks are called the Maroon Bells, as you can see there in the distance. It's not the Maze Canyonlands of Utah. It's incorrect. But this is why it's some of the most difficult peaks to climb. The total gain is 4,800 feet. The length is 12 miles round trip. It takes 7 hours to complete. The summit, the high point of the trail of the hike, is 14,156 feet above sea level. It's extremely high risk of exposure, meaning if you took a misstep and slid off the trail, your injuries would be severe. And there's not a defined route out the mountain, so you often have to kind of find your own way. I mean, that is dangerous. People who like the Maroon Bells know they must take precautions and prepare for situations, but still every year, hikers are injured on this hike for a simple reason. They choose not to follow the safety guidelines. They get careless, they take unnecessary risks, and they stand too close to the edge. Now, while most of us probably have never hiked a 14er, which is what that one is called, a 14er, there's something we all have in common with these hikers. Now, in this series, we've been talking about like freedom and rules and how the two can coexist. You know, we've been spending a little bit of time on that. And whether you're fighting with your parents about your independence or you're trying to figure out like how to live out your faith, we all occasionally push back on rules we don't like. And we talked last week about the rules that we don't like and all these things that we have to deal with and why do we have to deal with these rules. And we talked about how there's like this freedom in following the rules. You know, especially with figuring out your faith, we all occasionally push back on rules that we don't like. So what do we have in common with reckless hikers? Well, just like those hikers who get careless and sometimes take unnecessary risk, we all stand a little bit too close to the edge sometimes. You know, think about that in terms of like your walk and your faith, whether it's sex and dating, the entertainment we watch, the words we say, or the way we behave. How often we ask this, even kind of in through our actions, we ask how far is too far. You know, how close to the line can I technically get without doing something wrong? You know, how much can I get away with before I get in trouble, or how much can I bend a rule before I break it? Of course, some rules need to be questioned. We're not talking about those sorts of rules. But when does rule bending become dangerous to us or to others? And that's the question we need to kind of camp on. How far is too far? Like, for instance, there was this time where I was a kid. I might have shared it with you guys before. There was a time I was a kid and I went to my aunt and uncle's house, and we were having bottle rocket fights and just having a good time and taking our bottle rockets, lighting them up and throwing them. Okay. That's what we did. And that was a lot of fun. I lit one and I just started staring at it. I got very dangerous and very reckless with it because I'm holding it and I have it on fire, and I'm not making the connection in my head. Richard, throw it. Richard, throw it. Richard, throw it. I'm sitting here looking at, oh, check it out. Look at the sparks. And I'm like, oh, I got to throw it. And it's getting closer for it to start to really, and I start to panic, and I do like this 360 spin, and I hurl bottle rocket, and it goes like out in the field over, and it blows up. I wipe out on the ground. I've got cuts and tears and burn marks all over, and it was the most dangerous thing I've ever done with a firecracker. And so, maybe for you, you've done something like that, to where, like, you did something a little bit dangerous, and you were warned not to do that, and you did it, and you got hurt or something like that. But if you've ever pushed the boundary or stood too close to the line or bent a rule just to see if you could, I get it, because I've been there, I've done that. But instead of asking how far is too far, I want to give you an alternative question that will save you a ton of trouble and a ton of hurt and a ton of regret. If you, instead of asking how far is too far, ask yourself this other question. And it comes from James. And so here's James. Here's what he looks like, in case you might have forgotten what he looks like. That's kind of what he looks like, this dude right here. And we're introduced James last week. And he was the brother of Jesus. He was leader of the Jerusalem church during the early years of the Jesus movement. But here's a fun fact that we didn't mention. He had a nickname, and his nickname was James the Just. He earned that nickname because he was known for doing what was good, what was wise, what was honoring to God. And so even when it was difficult, even when it was unpopular, even when it was inconvenient, the dude was known for following after God no matter what. So I think James is pretty well qualified to kind of give advice on what to do in situations where we don't want to cross the line, but are tempted to get as close to the line as possible. Now, if you remember, James wrote this letter to the church that we read last week. We're going to read it tonight, to help them figure out how to live by God's commands, by God's rules. And James wasn't, necessarily talking about like the hundreds of religious laws that we find in the Old Testament. The law James wanted people to obey was the law that Jesus gave, to love God and to love others, like we talked about last week. To love God, love others like we love ourselves. That's what we talked about last week. That's actually what our Devo was our Devo was yesterday. Plug for the group Devo. Hey, if you want to do the group Devo, let me know, and I'll make sure you get an invite. According to Jesus, if you follow the law of love, that's the rule that matters most, is loving God and loving people. And so even though this law sounds simple, it wasn't always easy for the early Jesus followers to do, to know how to love, or to, God or others. Maybe it was not always easy for you either. Maybe it's not. Maybe you kind of have a difficult time loving others, and for whatever reason. When James wrote this letter, people were figuring out how to follow Jesus for the first time. But Jesus was no longer with them, and so without Jesus in the flesh, they couldn't ask for help directly from Jesus or clarity when they had a question about how to love God or others. So to help the church of Jerusalem figure this out, this is what James wrote. And it's in James chapter 1, verses 5 through 8 that we're going to look at tonight. And it says this: "Now, if any of you lacks wisdom, he should ask God, who gives to all generously and ungrudgingly, and it will be given to him. But let him ask in faith without doubting. For the doubter is like the surging sea, driven and tossed by the wind. That person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord, being double-minded and unstable in all his ways." So a couple things that we can kind of unpack here is first off, he mentions wisdom. And so what is wisdom? What is wisdom? Because that's his solution, is that he says all we need to do is just to simply ask. But how do we ask God for wisdom? How do we get wisdom? How do we ask God for wisdom? Do we just pray and wait for God's voice to answer from the sky? Like, yes, you should have the chocolate Doritos, which are gross and disgusting. Ooh, chocolate Doritos. Anyway, sorry. But that's not necessarily it. That's not what we're talking about. No, That's not how God speaks most of the time. When we ask God for wisdom, the answer to our prayer might come through people. You might find wisdom in a conversation with a mentor or a friend, or maybe even something that you're hearing tonight that you need to really hear, that God has placed you to hear this and to receive it. A teacher or a parent or a trusted adult might even come through a book or a movie or song or even a speech by someone you've never met. Sometimes God's wisdom comes through experience. My dad would always say, experience is the best teacher. No one likes experience, failure, or difficulty, but God can always redeem difficult situations by helping us gain wisdom through our experiences. And another way that God gives us wisdom is through history. There are a lot of people who have gone before us and passed down important lessons that they've learned. We can gain wisdom by looking at the ideas, the practices, the guidelines that have been passed down from previous generations. But of course, the big thing that we get wisdom that we can hear and God uses is Scripture. That's the big thing, is Scripture, through spending time in God's Word. There's another passage I want us to look at. And it's found in Proverbs, and it's Proverbs 27:12. And this is what it says. It says in Proverbs 27:12, a sensible person sees danger and takes cover. The inexperienced keep going and are punished. So, according to Solomon, who's the author of Proverbs, a sensible person sees danger and takes cover. The inexperienced keep going and are punished. A wise person can see danger approaching before it's too late. They know, okay, I know this is going to happen. I need to check myself before I wreck myself. Okay, that's what the wisdom person is going to say. The unwise person will not. A wise person is going to be able to predict how a situation could go wrong before it happens. See, a wise person can see a toxic relationship developing before they get hurt. A wise person can identify a bad influence before they're negatively influenced, and a wise person can see how their actions could cause regret before they ever take them. That's a wise person. Now, a foolish person, on the other end, that kind of flirts with danger. They're the ones that never see the warning signs, or they simply disregard them if they do. They eventually hurt themselves, and they hurt and others. They end up with regret, or they carry for years. They damage relationships they care about. They lose opportunities they worked hard to achieve. And I think if we're honest, there are moments when we could call ourselves a wise person, and we've seen and we can make those great decisions. But there are also, if we're, especially, I know for me, there are moments when I'm super wise, and there are moments when I'm not super wise. There are moments when I'm foolish, when I make mistakes, when I say the wrong thing. I know you might be surprised about that, but just ask Crystal. Okay, she can tell you the once or twice when I've messed up. Okay. So, but when danger approaches, I'm going to go ahead and move on before she says anything. Before when danger approaches, a wise person doesn't see how close they can get to danger. And a wise person avoids danger as much as possible by taking precautions. If they get too close to a dangerous situation, they call for help. If they get to a point to where they can't handle it, they call for help. They call for wisdom. They set up a safety net. They do their best to make sure that they can safely get through whatever situation they're facing. The wise person doesn't ask, how close to danger can I get? They ask a better question. And this is kind of the question maybe we need to ask ourselves. How far from danger can I stay? Now, this has nothing to do with like living a life that is not lived. We're not talking about like hiding in a corner and just not, we're not talking about that. I want to be clear. We're talking about in making decisions in life, especially in terms of our growth in Christ, our growth as believers, is that, is dealing with sin. Just because, we have grace and we have forgiveness doesn't mean that we need to try to push the envelope and do things that we know go against what God would have us to do. And that's the big thing between being a wise person and a foolish person. And we all sometimes, there are moments when, I know for me, there are days when I'm a wise person and I'm doing what God would call me to do. I'm doing those things and being obedient. And there are times when, because maybe I'm not thinking straight. Maybe I'm tired. Maybe I have not ate real good. Maybe I'm sick, or maybe I just I'm selfish, or I have a selfish moment. In those moments when we do those things, we're being selfish. And the question we need to really ask ourselves is, how far can I stay from danger? Like the hikers that we talked about earlier, wisdom means maintaining boundaries and not to keep us caged. Because here's the thing, and this was kind of mentioned in our Devo that we're going through, especially yesterday. We think that there is so much great freedom if we just do whatever we want. Because we kind of see the grass being greener on that other side. Man, if I could just do this, if I could just, it looks so much better. But the truth of it is that there's a lot of caging when we choose to not obey. And the reality is that when we follow after God and we do what God wants, that's where the freedom really lies. Wisdom means maintaining boundaries. Not because God being cruel or God being wanting to cage us in a prison of rules or anything. Far from that. But it's to keep us safe. It's to keep us not making mistakes that we will regret or we will have to deal with the consequences of. Because remember, the right rules can set us free, and free people don't dance with danger. Free people don't dance with danger. Now, here's the thing. I want to show you one more picture if I can. And that is this picture. And some of you might have been there. I don't know. If you have, if you're watching on YouTube and you've been in this place, hey, let us know in the comments. If you have been, those of you on Zoom, you can unmute Mike and tell me, have you been to this place, the Grand Canyon? Anybody ever been to the Grand Canyon? I would love to go check it out one time.
I
Look at
haven't.
that. How beautiful is the Grand Canyon? Look at that. Now, all right, I'm going to leave this picture up, and I want you to imagine, put on your imagination caps, okay? And do this. Imagine this with me. You're flying over the Grand Canyon, and with your face pressed to the airplane window, you're miles above the Rio Grande River. The sight is so incredible, so wild and dangerous that it's hard for your brain to process. So you decide to get closer and you land. You don't jump out of the plane, you land, okay? When you land, you head to the Grand Canyon, hoping to let your feet dangle over one of those incredible canyon ledges you saw from the air. But when you arrive, this is what you see. Safety railings. Why would they put safety railings there? Why would they do that?
To prevent you from dying.
Yeah. You'd have to ask the guy who caused it in the first place.
But I mean, isn't it an
That
inconvenience?
one
Isn't it?
guy.
I mean, it's an eyesore, all that metal. Look at that. Right? I mean, it's so unnecessary, isn't it? Isn't it unnecessary?
No, it's necessary.
Why is it necessary?
Because there are some really ignorant people in this world. They'll be like, oh, I'm just gonna reach all 4 of my limbs off, and then we don't go from there.
Right. They're not to cage you, they're to keep you safe. They allow you to enjoy it and to be safe. And that's the thing. Are they really going to enjoy the Grand Canyon? Would you really enjoy the Grand Canyon if they didn't have those rails there and you're just hanging off on the ledge and you lean over just a little bit too far and you go, yahoo! You really going to enjoy it? No. Because you're going to be hurt. You're going to get hurt or maybe even dead. And then there's no enjoying that because you're dead. Now, if you're a believer, you might get to go to heaven, right? But I mean, everybody wants to go to heaven, right? But nobody wants to die. See, that's the thing is that those boundaries, those rails are boundaries to keep you safe while you are enabled to, right? While you're allowed to enjoy it, they're meant to keep you safe. That's the thing. They're meant to keep you, they're to protect you. They're not to hinder you or anything. But it's the same logic, you know, that we use when it comes to the rules that we don't like, right? You know, we have some, you know, because I mean, think about it. Not everybody that leans over the cliff is going to fall to their death, is going to fall and get hurt, right? But that's ridiculous logic. And a lot of times that's how we do it when we deal with things that we don't like, when we deal with rules that we don't like. Many of the rules we hate to follow are actually guidelines designed to keep us safe. You know, like think about the curfew or the things that you watch. You know, you might have rules on that, or you might have rules on even driving and you know, of course, where, you know, those things. And of course, rules with the pandemic. And the idea behind all of that is simply to keep you safe. But many of the rules we hate to follow, them. And so we try to justify, we try to say, well, it's not really, you know, all that. But instead of being thankful for these boundaries, we often see them as enemies to our freedom. And the reality is they help us be free. So what do we do about danger as believers? What do we do about danger? Do we throw caution to the wind and do whatever we want? No. That's what foolish people do. Do we stay far away from danger, that we never leave our rooms because we're so afraid of making a mistake, and so we just kind of huddle in the corner? Well, no, that's not it either. That's not the kind of abundant life that God would want us to live. That's not what he's calling us to do. Jesus doesn't say go and hide in the corner. He says go into the world. Tell everybody about everything I've done. You've got to have a life. Just like dangerous climbs have safety mechanisms in place to keep hikers safe, there are ways that you and I can prepare, that you and I can take precautions, that you and I can create boundaries that keep us safe too. We talked about this today, and I'm guessing you've thought of at least one line that you're tempted to cross. Maybe it's watching things that you're not supposed to watch, or maybe it's talking to people in ways that you shouldn't talk to people, or maybe it's something completely else, something completely different. You're not trying to fall into the Grand Canyon, of course, but you wouldn't mind sitting on the ledge and letting your feet dangle for a few minutes. For you, maybe it's a temptation to push a boundary with your words or your friendships, or, you know, like I said earlier, what you view online or something like that. Maybe you've been thinking, I don't want to do anything too dangerous. I just want to get a little closer to the line. Well, here's the problem. There comes a point when you get so close to the line that you're actually over it, whether you realize, and you don't even realize it. And so maybe we need to kind of rethink that, and especially as believers, instead of dancing with danger, wise people respect and they keep healthy boundaries. But where do we need to place those healthy boundaries? Well, you got to have respect for the boundaries set for you. We're not always wise enough to know which boundaries we need to keep us safe, but trusted adults can give us safe boundaries. Parents, coaches, teachers, mentors, youth pastor, you know, we can all help. It can all help us avoid the danger by setting up guardrails for us. You know, it can be frustrating to respect the boundaries, but we didn't create. But sometimes the rules don't make sense. But even when we don't like them, boundaries can keep us from pain and regret. And there's two things that can help. One, set your own boundaries. Don't like being told what to do, and set your own boundaries proactively. Ask yourself the following. In which areas do you need more boundaries? Be open and honest. What boundaries do you struggle to maintain? What boundaries can you establish to keep you from danger? And this is where because you might be like, I don't really know where I struggle with this. Well, this is kind of ask yourself this question. What's something I kind of really have an unhealthy obsession? Maybe something I spend way too much time on. Maybe it's video games. Maybe it's social media, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. maybe it's you just are listening to constantly the music that you shouldn't be listening to. You know, so ask yourself that question. What is it that I'm focusing too much of my time on? Set your own boundaries. And then you need to, this is the second thing, is that, you know, you begin placing healthy boundaries between you and the danger. Because here's the thing, if you take something out, which by the way, in a lot of churches, they're practicing what's called Lent, to where they give up something for X amount of time and getting ready for Easter. And the thing about the thing about it is that, you know, if you give up something, you're going to be filling it up with something else. And so you got to ask yourself this question: what are some healthy boundaries I can put in place to keep me from putting in something else that's just unhealthy? You know, do you need to turn off your phone or after a certain time each night? Do you need to wait a little longer before dating? You know, do you need to spend less time with a certain friend? Do you need to give something up because it often brings you too close to danger? Do you need to invite a trusted friend or adult into your life to help you make wise choices? You need to kind of do those things. Ask yourself, have an honest conversation with yourself. It's not always easy to know what's wise. But like James says, if we need more wisdom, all we have to do is ask God for it. And through scripture, through people, through history, through experiences, God reveals wisdom to us. When wisdom tells us to avoid something, and usually, I don't know about you, but I know for me, this is how I know I need to avoid something. When I have a little small voice for me, and just kind of not a little voice saying, "Hey, we're gonna go do this." Not like that, but just a sense, a feeling. This is something I should not be doing. This is something that's not okay. Wisdom tells me to listen to that or yearning or voice or whatever it is. When wisdom tells us to do something, it's not because God wants to control us. It's because God wants to see us live free of unnecessary hurt. And I can tell you, when in those moments when I feel like it's wisdom saying to me, hey, when I feel like it's God saying to me, encouraging me to choose wisdom, saying, hey, you don't need to do that, I've never regretted it. Remember, a wise person doesn't ask how far or how close can I get to danger. They ask, how far can I stay away from danger? In fact, that is our big takeaway for tonight. Our big takeaway tonight is this, is that, you know, not asking how close can I get to danger, not asking how far is too far, but it is rules can set us free, and free people don't dance with danger. And so we need to ask ourselves, how far can we stay away from danger? Y'all, we're going to pray. And I want to encourage you, if there's something that you're struggling with, if there's something that you're dealing with, if there's some sort of unhealthy habit that you've developed and you need to talk to somebody, I'm right here. You can call me. Okay. You can text me. You can send me a message. Ask to set up a video time to where we can talk. You know, but I'm here for you, and I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you to begin right now to set boundaries. What is that one thing that you're struggling with? What is that one thing that you, maybe it's a rule that you hate, and there's a reason why you hate it, because you want to kind of do it and kind of break that rule. And I want to encourage you to avoid that, to, as best as what you can, through reading the word, through prayer, through doing things that we talk about all the time that you should do. I want to encourage you to begin setting those boundaries to where you can stay far away from the danger. So that way, by living in obedience to what God says, the right rules of loving God and loving people can truly set us free. And always remember that free people don't dance with danger. Y'all, I have enjoyed tonight. We're going to pray, and then we can hang out for a minute or two if you want. Those of you joining us on YouTube, whether you're watching now or you're watching later, thanks so much for being a part of it. I want to encourage you guys to follow after us, to like, comment, and share our videos. It helps us get the word out. And so thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to close in prayer, and then I'm going to stop the live stream. But hey, those of you in Zoom, would love to hang out with you guys just a little bit longer. So We're going to pray. Father God, thank you so much for all that you've done. And Lord, I pray that you just help us to not want to break the boundaries that we know are good boundaries for us, Father. That when we're tempted, when we're tempted to do something that we know is wrong, Father, may we listen to you. May we choose wisdom over choosing foolishness, and may we stay far away from the danger. And it's in your name I pray. Be with us as we are not together, Father, even though we get to be together here. Lord, I pray that you just keep those that are having to be on the road safe. And it's in your name I pray.